live at the same time. You banned swearing, even though it's live. You banned swearing.
No. We are live. We are live.
We're gonna have to speak after this, mate. Go on, get on with it.
Well, welcome everybody to episode 17 of the Forsaken Council Open Mic. I'm a little bit late for the door again this week, but we're all here, it seems, or most of us. So, how is everyone's week in BP so far?
I got to chill. I got some tokens. I've almost got my second Apollo fully done, and I'll have my third done with time before the raid, so I'll work on some subs. And for a plug, Ren posted some pictures of Nighthawk and Tiger Shark builds in the forums that are good starting points, but be wary of the build times.
Okay. So after, we had Tuesday's show, which was kind of like a very small update. I feel, wasn't exactly a lot going on Tuesday. But since then, they've dropped in July Whip, haven't they?
Yeah. So yeah, we got the. Oh, hi Ren, how you doing, mate?
Hi Ren.
Hey guys.
Yeah, so obviously they popped in. Obviously, it's a July bank holiday weekend. Obviously, 4th of July bank holiday weekend for the States. So Friday they popped in the July working progress sort of notes here. I've got a few points. The daily deals, basically they're going to rotate on Wednesday the 6th of July, including some fragments and tokens, some ship skins, such as a new skin, if you saw it, for the Vendetta. That was a hull that was blatantly going to get a skin because there's so many flat panels on it. It was obvious it was going to come.
Where's the Vendetta skin? No, never mind. I've missed. I haven't read the whip yet, so I'm kind of excited what you're going to say.
It's okay. It's the first of a few. I can see it. That ship was always going to get skins because it's just got so many flat sides on it. So
did anyone buy the Punisher and the Apollo skins?
No.
Was I the only one stupid enough to do that?
I'm not American, so why would I get an American flag skin?
The Star and Stripes.
Yeah, same.
But the Stars and Stripes that's still the only skin I own for the Rhino, and I got that. It's just something different, isn't it?
It's because you're a dirty coiner.
I am pretty filthy. That is true.
The new Vendetta skin looks like a Duracell battery. I'm just going to say that. It looks like a Duracell battery.
I was hoping we were going to get a Brexit skin, but it didn't happen.
But you know what? And it's like 25. I think it was 250 coins for a skin. I think that's over the top, right? I mean, for $100 you could get 1,000 gold and a skin, and then usually for $100 you get 1,250 coins. So you're pretty much giving up on 250 coins to get the skins instead. Is it worth it? Even if you're an American, is it worth it?
That's actually what I did. Is I got that.
That was my
and
concern.
Going on what Ranger said, I mean, it doesn't make my fleet any better.
No, but there's nothing. I mean, to be honest, there's nothing specifically wrong with that because it doesn't give you an advantage. It doesn't do anything else, does it? It's just a color thing, which is the whole idea of it for the skins. But personally, now that the pound's so bad against the dollar, it would have been nice if they sort of like discounted a few other things as well, and then I might have been tempted, but no chance.
And I mean, it was Canada Day yesterday. They could have had a Canadian skin, right? Maybe I would have gone for that one.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an internal sort of like propaganda movement rather than a generic global thing, I think.
I like to, I might be interested in one of those skins off that an actual what's that movie, Serenity? No.
Serenity, written by Josh Whedon.
You mean
the Reavers skins?
The Firefly movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Firefly, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind one of those skins.
I think we'd all want one of those.
You shouldn't waste your money on any skins. It's stupid.
They are, but they don't do any harm, I suppose. If you've got enough cash, fill your boots. It doesn't make it a better driver.
Do you know what I used to enjoy about the skins for me? And it was nothing to do with the it was to do with the aesthetics, but not so much in the opinion of wanting them to look cool. I kind of hated the fact that if I had like two Frosties, say I had one with my, ballistic ships, I forgot what they're called now, and I had one with my, fusion cruisers. I'd hate that they'd look the same because I'd confuse the two fleets. So I always enjoyed getting a skin so I could just make one look slightly different, and I'd know the two fleets between each other.
Yeah, I can
And
see
for
the
that,
logic
you
in
could use the retrofit skins that were free, right? So you didn't have to actually buy skins in most cases.
Well,
But for the lead holes, yeah, I mean, I just saw it in chat there. It's like buying the skin for the Phantom Tiger, isn't it? You know, because everyone's going to see that when you set it around, aren't they? You know.
There's one thing about the skins that I like. There's only one thing about skins. I personally would never buy. I never buy them. Same as I don't buy badges or anything. But as Kixeye's company, and I think we all agree they need to make money. It's a good revenue raising for them, where people don't have to do it, so they can still make money off people that just want to look good and want it. But people that don't want to spend coins don't have to do it because it won't affect their game.
Fair point. Very good point. I mean,
Sam Nation just made a funny one. He said, "I'll buy a Zoe bikini skin." Mate, that's funny. That made me giggle.
Well, I quite like the Zoe skins on the citadels in the bases.
Yeah, I mean, it's down to the individual, and that's how it should be. It has zero impact in the game. If somebody just wants colourful ships, have colourful ships, whatever. You know, it isn't making it any. You know, and if you can afford it, then do it. You know, it's not going to do any. It's not harming anybody else, is it?
Mm-hmm.
As long as it hasn't got gay pride on it, or something like rainbow colours, or CND, or something else about it. I don't know, whatever.
Listen, mate, if it had gay pride, you'd have bought it already.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah. So, well, listen, I think that the new Vendetta skin looks fantastic. It looks really, really cool.
Yeah, it's a start, isn't it?
And but you know, I can see a point for it, because what if you had two that you designed very specifically to work as a rocket bulk up front, and 3 designed to work as mortars at the back, and all 5 of them were in the same fleet?
Well, quite simple. When you click left or right, you'd see by your build what you've got on there. Come on, Leo.
It simplifies it. It simplifies it for people, you know, that are simple like me. So, but that's why I like skins. I like to be able to have 2 different ships, both the same type of ship, both running different designs, and they look different. And that for me is the most valuable asset to skins. Always has been.
I actually did that to my Frosties. Like, I have one of that snowstorm skin and one regular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have one with the snowstorm and one with the purple and blue one. I don't know what one that one's called. It's another skin that they had. Okay, so skins. I mean, I guess we kind of have the same opinion that I think most people in the game have always had. You kind of, if you want them, get them, and if not, it doesn't really matter.
So take it or leave it, isn't it?
Yeah. Should we jump on to the Dark Reign TLC? Because I've got a few choice words about this one. So.
And it's going to get Ren's back up as well. Okay, so basically we've got a time limited campaign. We've been asking Ron for ages, and we've got one. But it's new flagships. So we're going to get a new flagship for the Apollo, and we're going to get a new flagship for the Citadel. It begins on Wednesday, the 6th of July. It's a time limited campaign for players above level 65. So that's something new. They put it up to level 65s. And it's going to run for a full week. But unlike the previous ones, it says there's 5 separate run-throughs. Well, that's not like previous, because a couple of them have done that before. But anyway, there's 5 separate run-throughs, each with a number of encounters. It's a bit like a snowfall sort of thing. Prizes are awarded upon completion of a run-through, and obviously more news will come after the long weekend. So it's going to be Tuesday. They've got to come out with that, to be honest. That should be Tuesdays or Wednesdays. If it's starting on Wednesday, something's got to come out on Tuesday, isn't it?
Well, I've actually misread that then, because I've actually misunderstood the way that was put together. Because originally, when I was told about this TLC, I was under the impression that they were going to be releasing a limited version of those 2 hulls, not a limited flagship for those 2 types of fleets, because that's something completely different entirely, isn't it?
Well, it says new flagship hulls. That's theirs. That's literally taken, copy and pasted from their release note.
But when someone said it to me, they said they're releasing new versions of them, like, you know, nuclear cruiser, Highlander, as Greta's nuclear cruiser, you know, that kind of thing. But this isn't that. This is the flagship. This is the ship to lead them. So that's completely changed my opinion entirely, and I actually think that's really, really good. Ren?
That's the point. Ren, jump in, mate, when you're ready.
No, I was just going to say, it has been increasingly frustrating for me. The fact that, I always went the extra mile, time and coin to get flagships. And now, since they introduced the Foundry, they've been breaking up all my flagships, right? I mean, just throwing them in the garbage, if you ask me, because and I'm going to use a simple example: the Danta Nova Storm versus the regular Nova Storm, or the Grimshine Berserker versus the regular Berserker, where now you can even keep them in the same fleet together because their combat speeds won't match, right? Or the ranges, the remote target ranges won't match. You know, it's just a big screw up, and I've been asking for months now, guys, what are you going to do about the flagships? You know, like you're buffing the regular versions, or even people like who had the regular Mastodons in the end now, if you retrofit them, they're better than the Protodons, or people who got the Templars through campaigns. They were better than the Crusaders. Now you go and you check, the Crusaders are way better than the Templars, so it's just a slap in the face of people who spend the time and coin and whatever, and then build those ships. And now they're just behind the curve, right? Just left out, to dry, and there's not even an announcement of a plan to say, guys, we're working on something and we'll take care of your flagships, right, or your limited hulls. They're only buffing regular hulls, like just now. I mean, are they going to do something for the Banshees? A lot of people, got the Banshees on Forsaken Arena and then hull stores, and now we know subs will be in the Foundry in August, but again, they don't put limited hulls in there, so probably the Spectre, the Kudas, and so on will get buffs, but not the Banshees. So again, people who want and build those limited hulls are screwed. And now they're offering you more limited hulls to lead regular hulls, which logic would have it. I mean, the Citadel is already in the Foundry, so there's differences, there's buffs it's going to get. So how's this new hull going to come out? Or the Apollo will eventually make into the Foundry. And what happens to the lead ship? My trust in them about the way they're handling limited hulls is really low right now. So I don't know. I'm very frustrated with that one.
Yeah, I'm just say, just quickly there. I'll just say hi, Monster, and Gadget's just popped up in the chat as well. So
hi, Monster, and hi, Gadget. Great
Hello.
To see you, buddy.
So yeah, Emery, thoughts, mate? What do you think?
Well, I'm not really using my flagships anymore, really, so I don't really have an opinion until I see what they are going to come up with. Maybe these new flagships are going to give a buff to the entire fleet, or maybe they're just going to stand on their own. Because let's be realistic, I've seen people running with 5 Citadels and hitting bases. I'm not saying it's a good idea, but there are people out there who are doing that. And I'm not sure if they are going to go for a flagship and throw away a Citadel for that one, unless if it's really, really good and it gives something. But most probably we need a fleet buff thing to use it like any other flagship that we have.
But a lot of flagships now, people are standing off for them as well. I mean, I tend to as well, like, the Omega, the Savage, that sort of stuff. I drop it into the bottom corner and then just use the buff from it and then send the rest of the 4 ships in. I don't necessarily want it to do... I get it if you get some sort of boost to, one of the field auras, that sort of stuff, The generic, like the Dante's Nova Storm, it's so slow now that you couldn't actually put it with anything anymore. But it still gives you a 50% boost, for your reload and that sort of stuff.
I never got that far. It's 8 days to build that hull. And it was just too much at any point for me to just build it for the bonus.
Anybody else?
I think
people in chat are asking, just before we go on, same's probably going to happen with the Phantom Tiger Shark and Phantom Nighthawk. They're not going to go into Foundry, so whatever buffs the regular subs get, the Phantom versions will not. Kixeye may give them some starting buffs, but not the Foundry buffs, right?
Yeah, and on that, just to say that, we're sort of like guessing that clearly the junky sort of Forsaken to initial holes that you can research aren't going to go in there, which leaves you 4 holes remaining to go into the Foundry, but it's not a given because they've not actually released it yet, which ones are going at which tier. It's sort of, you can read into it, but... No,
yeah, it's best guess. We know researchable tech doesn't go in the Foundry, so that leaves blueprints, and if you look at blueprints, you have, 5 subs?
And one you can't because one was a limited hull in the arena, wasn't it? Which is the Banshee, so that's not going to go in.
Exactly. So any limited hull is out of Foundry. So you get the regular subs. So I think we have access to 5 of them. So 4 of the 5 will be in there. So maybe the Reaper will be left out, maybe the Spectre will be left out. We don't know, but it's a safe bet that I think the Nighthawk and the Tiger Shark will be there. That's my bet.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, okay. So anybody else quickly on the TLC? Any other thoughts?
For designing the limited holes, I think that it's a little more difficult now, especially with the Apollo because of the accelerate. But they are kind of getting to the point where they can plan to have it in line with the Foundry. Like the Citadel already has the bus. We know what it is. It doesn't affect speed. So you can create a Citadel flagship, or if they know the Apollo bus, an Apollo flagship, because looking back at the Rhino, that doesn't affect its speed. It's just its DPS and some defenses. If they do something like that for the Apollo, then what they can do, although it's risky, is to have the limited flagship version be so much better, or just so much better than the Apollo now that the Apollo at R5 is a little bit worse, but that also lies a risk of people who don't get it, and they might throw off the medics a little. Kickstarter might plan on a raid having people having this flagship Apollo, and everyone who not having it be so much further behind. I think it's going to be just better Apollo, good assault DPS, better turret defense, and corrosive defense buff for the fleet. I don't really know what they're going to do with the Citadel, though.
No, me either, I have to say. Interesting, wouldn't it?
With the flagship, I mean, it depends on what they do, especially the Apollo one, because it's possible they might be able to give the fleet a buff that makes the Apollo more versatile for other things once this raid cycle's finished.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, for me, actually, I'll pick up on Gadget's point that he made on the weekly show. There are two things. I was talking to Ren about this earlier. And there's two options here which don't take a lot of coding. And Ren, you can have a look on this again in a minute, or somebody else can. We've got two things here. I think if you're going to put the standard ship into the Foundry, as soon as you get to the next tier, let's just say go to tier 1, a bit like doing your spray job, you should better go into somewhere and just go, I've got that tier now, click, where's the limited hull? One instant hit button gets it to the mirror image of the standard hull as well, at least in speed and turn, etc., and that sort of stuff and capability. So it's not going to lag behind, and it's not going to become a negative factor in your fleet and that sort of stuff, because what is the point of a Phantom Nighthawk if you can't use it with Nighthawks? It needs to be the same turn speed, the same combat speed, and at least as decent on the open water. Otherwise, you've just wasted your time. And if that's not the answer, then the answer could be a little bit like, well, stick, and this shouldn't cost, because it's already built into the game, stick that limited hull into the into the Retro Lab, stick it in there, press a button, it instantly gets the same level as the one that's already been created in the Foundry. So it's not costing anybody else anything at all, but at least you're keeping your fleet equal across all ships. What do you think? Or do you think there's something else?
Yeah, that
No,
sounds...
I agree. I totally agree.
They initially they did some things like that, right? When they buffed the Kodiak, they gave a similar buff to the Savage, or when they buffed the what's the other one? The Rhinos. They also gave an initial buff to Zoe's Rhinos, but then the 5 levels of retrofit you get from the Foundry, the Zoe's don't get that, or the Savage doesn't get that. You know what I mean? Somehow it should, just like Mark described, through Retro Lab or automatic parity with the regular version. I don't know. Even the V2s got some buffs, and the Frosties didn't, right?
Yeah, but if they put those flagships into the Retro Lab, there's going to be another problem. Traditionally, when they put something into the Retro Lab, they got the time so long that if you want to go from R1 to R5, it takes about a month. And it's going to be really, really ridiculous if you got your Foundry things done in a day if you put your both hands into the project. And you have to wait for a month to get the flagship up to speed with the rest of the fleet again. Or
no, I see your point, Imran, but I think that the time it takes to retrofit one level in a hull, I agree it's very long today in the Retro Lab, but that's a variable that they can just type it in, right? So they could make it so the limited versions to match the regulars could have a 24-hour retrofit timer. That's entirely up to them. I mean, the code, we are suggesting that not because I think it's the most elegant design choice, but just because the code is already there, and it's a place where they've put limited holes before, so they could put them in there again, right? And just make the timer 24 hours or something like that, very short.
Ren, Metal Beard's just come up with a good idea as well, and I overlooked it myself, I must admit. You could put the 4 seconds timer, like they do the specialists, using the Naval Lab. That would also work, wouldn't it? You could go into there, so when your Foundry one has been updated to the next level, you could go into the Naval Lab, and it could go in with the specialist fits, and then click the button. It took 4 seconds for the remainders to do it, didn't it? So
yeah, that would be doable. I mean, except that KIXEYE has abandoned the whole VXP specialist. I mean, the whole piece of code has been abandoned, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We haven't seen anything coming from there anymore in many, many, many months, and now they're. I understand your point. Could be another place, you know.
It's just a labour saving and less coding option, you know. So long as I don't understand how to do their coding, I wouldn't even begin to imagine. But I'm just saying
I feel like your idea better. I think the less coding is the retro lab, because Grimshine, for instance, is already there. Greta's are already there. You know, it's just clearly the mechanic is already there to add a limited hole to the retro lab. All they would have to do is put a short time, like 24 hours, and that's it. Off you go.
I'm almost sure that we will see flagships though. I know we don't have it right now, but I don't think they're just going to leave it. I just don't think they quite know how to do it just yet. I'm not saying that we're going to see it for, say, like limited, say for example DNX, Greta's DNX. I don't think we're going to see Greta's DNX, but the flagship variants, I think we are going to see something like that go into. I don't have any facts or any inkling, but I just don't see them not doing it, in my opinion.
Well, they're going to have to, because otherwise, what's the point in?
Why win them? Pointless.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? So.
And let's tuck them in the bottom corner of the battle area and hope they don't get taken out, sort of stuff, because otherwise.
But honestly, I mean, do you need a flagship for your Apollos today? I mean, I have 3 Apollos. I'm doing all I need to do with 3 Apollos. I don't need a flagship for them, right? Because it's going to take me shipyard time, and right now it may be a dead end, just like. For months now, all my other flagships have been dead ends. What I'm saying is, like, I mean, would you recommend a player kills, like, you know, puts in the time or coin to win the TLC and get the? Do you think those limited ships are a must-have?
Got to set the buffs first. I have no idea. You know, if it gives you I can't imagine what it do to an Apollo. It's fast. The reload's good. You know, it's got good agility. What are they going to do for the flagship? It'd be pretty interesting. I mean, what buff is coming with it? I'm not sure.
For the Apollo, I can give you one bloody idea.
We're not doing nothing to your proxy Apollos.
Listen, if it does anything for the bloody countermeasures, then
my countermeasures are fine, mate.
I thought Liam was going to ask for faster reload on his switchblades.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's going to do. Hopefully, it'll bloody do something for the switchblades, and then
I'm not getting it.
Yeah. Multi-shot +3.
Yeah, multi-shot +3. You know, increased splash for countermeasure reload down to nothing, 100% accuracy for countermeasure, something like that. You know, just a little thing.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on.
But that's kind of sad that they'd have to bring out a flagship to fix a weapon which they brought out, which is bust.
Yeah.
Okay.
But stranger things have happened in this.
Stranger things have happened at sea.
This game of BP that we like to play. Okay, we'll move on, shall we? So we've got the July raid event preview. There's a lot of stuff going on this month, I have to say, in previews and preview service. So it says it will be showcasing the targets for the July event and the new top prize, the Vanquisher, okay, on the preview server. And this is going to be on Friday the 8th, so this is just literally around the corner. As ever, the preview server is limited. Entrance is always on a first-come, first-served basis. Really? Okay, more to follow. So that's just next weekend. So, yeah, the preview server starting on Friday. Well, we'll be on Friday the 8th of July. Okay, and it'll hint what the top prize is going to be, the Vanquisher. So, Ben, do you know anything about that?
Me? No, nothing to add there. I
I
mean,
don't even know what type of a hull that's going to be. Is that going to be the sub, or is that going to be the base hull, or what's that going to be?
the Vanquisher?
Yeah,
Base defense, is it not?
That's a Defender.
I thought it's I thought it's going to be the new base hull, isn't it?
That's a new base defense hull. Yeah, it's a Defender class hull.
Okay.
And then in August we'll see another Conqueror. That's what they had told us, right? So that's
that was right. Yeah, that's the But then they sort of threw in a bit of a wild card where they said, "Oh, we might look at a new sub as well in the August raid hull raid."
Yeah, but August is a hull store, right? So they can put as many hulls out as they want in theory.
But the hint is then the Vanquisher, which is interesting. No one's had an input on actually what's going on that sort of stuff, as far as I know. So it'll be a complete
surprise.
Well,
Yeah,
I just hope it has thermal. I hope it has enough thermal that I can finally take the Frosty out of my base. That's what I hope. Like 90 thermal. That's all I want on it.
It'll be interesting to also see. I mean, if it's going to be good at somehow they're going to have to release it in a way where it's good at killing both the Vendetta and the Revenge, which is kind of a mutually exclusive thing because they're so different, right? The strength of the Revenge is the weakness of the Vendetta and vice versa. So this hull is going to have to be able to hurt both. So I'm really curious about seeing the specs.
But unless it has like ridiculous countermeasure buffs, hugely ridiculously high concussive deflection defense, and massive thermal, then it's not killing either, but neither's getting past it either. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of a balance.
Yeah, I don't expect it to be overpowered, but it has to strike a fine balance, able to damage both Vendettas and Apollos. That's my point.
It could be like ballistic and radioactive style, like how the Vendetta has its rocket reload and mortar reload. Yeah, it works with the coaxial weapon, but that's two different kinds of reload and two different kinds of damages to give bonus to. It could have something like that where the ballistic intends to counter the Vendetta and the radioactive intends to counter the Revenge.
Well, knowing
but that kind of kills you in terms of specials, right? Because I mean, you look at the Vendetta or the Revenge, both the coaxial weapons, they're both categories, both modes are the same damage type: explosive, concussive, concussive. Now, what do you do if now you have buffs for one type and another type? What kind of specials do you put on it?
Hopefully the new one they make, because I mean you're exactly right. You're never gonna. It's not gonna work that way. You're gonna be out of specials. You're not gonna have any room. But we'll see.
And bear in mind, it's gonna have to have something in it that already is defensive against the new hull that hasn't even come out yet. Otherwise, it will be completely worthless.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, probably not. I mean, probably they release this one now and make it weak against the third hull, so that's the forcing function for people to get the third hull.
Well, if they do that, then that's kind of sneaky, isn't it? That's kind of them going back to their old tricks, because
you're trying to say
that's their pattern.
If this hull blocks the Revenge and the Vendetta, and then the new hull coming after it kills this hull, there will be a lot of unhappy pirates, I think.
Do you know, it's only the Vendetta I ever worry about. The Revenges don't bother me at all. Vendettas lately, I've been getting hit by some really good fleets of them. I'm pretty impressed with how strong they're starting to turn out.
Yeah, they've got stronger. Like an all Vendetta fleet I can stop, an all Revenge fleet I can stop. But it's the combos that are a bit of an issue. Like a two Revenge, 3 Vendetta, no problem. But then I was actually beat the other day. My base was busted, and it was actually by one of your Alliance members, J-Boy. And he used 3 Revenges and 2 Vendettas.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that was the only way he got in, because the first 2 Revenges died, but he had just enough health left on the third one to tank it in, because I only had 2 Revenges in my car. It was absolutely sweet the way it worked out. I really enjoyed watching it, in fact. But
well, do you know, I'm getting hit by a lot of mixed fleets, and they're not really doing any good in my base. There was a guy called Illuminati. I can't remember his alliance he's in. But I'll tell you what, he's the only one who's ever got so close to one shot in my base. He got all the way around to the last corner, and that was just with 5 Avengers. I was very surprised how strong they were.
Really?
Yeah.
That is a shock.
Like I say, Revengers, mate, they die more or less a quarter down the channel.
Were they Pandos on them or something?
No, they was the mortars that come out with the boat. I'll do a video of it later on.
Wow.
But yeah, I was surprised. He hit me twice actually. He hit me and I went and flattened him back. And then a couple of hours later he come up again and I was really surprised how far he got.
He's obviously found a special that we haven't yet then, because yeah, I must admit, normally they just don't get very far at all, do they? Look at that.
Okay. Well then, so what have we covered and what haven't we covered out of the whip yet? Have you guys gone into the?
We're going on to the next bit, mate, which is obviously the July raid event itself, which is the Civil War.
Allegiance.
The Allegiance bit, where it says basically Zoe's War of her former allies has reached its its epoch, which is its age. It's come of age basically. It's time to pick a side. It says here, join forces with the Legion. That's her side, isn't it? To prove your loyalty to the Forsaken Council. Many people. Okay. Civil War Allegiance begins on Thursday the 14th. So preview this coming weekend, and then obviously the raid itself.
Is that when the event begins?
The 14th, yeah. What, 14th? Is that right? That can't be right. Is it the 14th?
That's a Thursday, yeah. That's the day I go away.
That's on the 14th.
Yeah, so it will be the 14th, yeah.
I go away that day and I'm not back till the Sunday.
So if you
sure you put extra security in, Liam, so no one hacks your account?
Oh, wow. If I get hit by those hackers again, you know what I mean?
So, Liam, if you give me £1,000, I'll do the raid for you.
well, it's done the same format, Liam, to be honest. I mean, you should be able to smash out your raids, to be honest, if you're going to get reasonable points.
Yeah, I'll do it on
You've got your Apollos now, so it shouldn't have changed the format, should it? So
well, yeah, but I'm not going to be. I'm going to be like in a different. I'm going to be in England, not in Scotland. Do you know what I mean? I won't have any internet. I'll figure it out. I'll get it done.
There's always McDonald's, mate.
Yes. Take a laptop with me.
So there you go. That's it. So then we'll move on to the July FM updates. So this is controversial, but there we go. Okay, new prizes enter the Forsaken mission this month. Okay, the concussive reciprocator, a Forsaken depth charge technology allowing for sustained damage at fixed range. Anybody give me a clue on that one?
I don't know.
It sounds like a concussive Gatling gun, but without two modes. It's a single mode concussive weapon.
I feel like
it responds to a lot of people saying they didn't like dual mode weapons.
Okay.
It reminds me of the Zoe's Rhino concussive gun on the bottom for some reason. Just like if you are within, 60 units or whatever, I'm going to shoot concussive things at you until you leave.
Yeah, possibly. Mm-hmm. Second prize, and it says the minigun turret, a focus short range or short to mid range concussive turret, which is limited, so you're just going to get one of those by the sounds of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So does that go with that new transformer? Because obviously the extender they've got for the 10%. Do you think that they're sort of like putting a little pattern in here, maybe?
And I'm surprised
Probably.
it's coming out because they're talking about for the longest time it's going to be like an upgrade to the Vulture. Never came out.
Is it me or is Ren sounding really muffly, like breaking up?
I thought that it was just me.
Okay, not just me.
Ren, you're sounding like really echoey, like auto-tune.
Just try the settings maybe or something. Third one, then expanded concussive charger, a turret special that increases concussive damage and splash. I know where I'm going to put that one.
Yes, yeah. I mean, yeah, it sounds like they're basically making a Gatling gun turret, aren't they? The weapon that's on the Revenges.
Well, let's hope it's not takes a lot of power, because I don't know about you big guys, but I've ran out.
Yeah, I'm having to take some stuff off now because I got a bit keen in one area and I'll go, oh my god, I'm running out of power already.
Yeah, I'm totally out. I've had to even had the specials on it to get an extra 200 per slot.
Yeah. On some of the turrets you can get away with it because you don't need some of the slots. And I wish that was worth 1,000 and not just 200, but I've been whinging about that for a long time.
But does this mean the dreaded next OP is around the bend?
Oh, don't do that, mate.
I did hear a rumour a little while ago that Outpost 9 was coming closer to November, December time.
That's why I heard Jay as well. I heard about November, December as well, but
Do not say that, because that would be the worst possible thing they could do right now.
Happy
But then
Christmas.
kiss my ass because I'm not coining them 20 turrets and all.
Well, no, it'd be 22 then.
It'd be horrendous, wouldn't it?
Shut up.
Ho, ho, ho.
You'd have to coin 2 up from nothing, and then, yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's not give them funny ideas.
And then the last one, which I think is even more comical and a year late, Synthonite Armor.
Did I not say that on a week ago on a show?
You did the exact thing. So D3S, D4S, and D5S, the Draconian Stealth Armor is finally coming into the game a year and a half, if not 2 years.
And what did I say when I said it? You guys said to me, Liam, that's a stupid idea. Well,
it is a stupid idea.
Obviously, Kicks, I don't think so.
It is a stupid idea.
Stupid idea.
Well, me and Kicks can be stupid together.
Unless they know something that we don't.
Just think of all the refit time.
Just think of all of the repair time.
Yeah, but now when you get seen, you'll last for 4 seconds instead of 1.
Okay, so and the last little bit about the FM, it says in obviously as it has been confirmed, which I'm a bit gutted because I want my last few Ghost Caller shards. We will also be removing blueprint shards from the Tier 5 at the start of the new FM cycle, which commences on Wednesday the 20th of July.
Woo!
Well, I haven't had any shards since last month anyway. Like I haven't had any.
Yeah, I maxed out my shards. Yeah, I was waiting for it to come around this cycle and I could get some more, but I'll have to do it some other way now.
I want to bring up a point about D3, 4, and 5S. I want to say it real quick, but I'll be lying. The interesting thing with subs at the moment, and we don't know what's going to change between now and the raid, they have such low base armor and they have so little inherent defenses, and usually none to concussive, that if you're seen or if you make a mistake, you're dead no matter what. And at 300% repair modifier as it is now, I believe I recall seeing a while back, it had to be 1% of the total fleet health to be able to launch a fleet. So at triple speed, that's still longer. But if they do these proposed changes where it's 100% repair, but you have to be at 100% to launch, then that will mean that any mistake is a lot more costly. Even the low-end armors add 10 minutes of repair time each. The D2s. So if that comes to pass, then any mistake is longer costly in time. So the D5S, if it goes, in the line of they usually have of like D3S is 6%, D4 7, D5 10, let's say, and D5 has deflection. Well, D5S better make me breakfast too, otherwise I won't consider putting it on my ships because that's going to be way too long to repair them up to full after a hit and a death. So we'll see what happens with those.
Yeah, that's my point, mate. It's a year, if not 2 years, too late. And with the concept of now moving to reducing the rebuild multiplier time, the refit. The multiplier time on the fix.
Repair
but
modifier.
Even so, but even so, if you are going to have to launch them 100%, that's going to kick you right in the nuts. It really is. You'd be mad to fit it unless we've got no choice because something else is coming that we don't know about.
It's why all those sub builds that run posted, all of them, no armor.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and Ren and I have been throwing ideas around, and we're in the same situation, to be honest, because if you've got to do 100%, let's get them down to the quickest fix you can.
Do you know the actual specs on the new armor? What it's actually supposed to do?
Well, as it says, it's the estimate, so it's a stealth bit, isn't it? It's obviously less detection, less thermal, obviously. But obviously it's going to have... Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, yeah, no, because I didn't know the specs on it. See, to me, I can't see it really being worth it because, we know in raid targets and mission targets and the non-people targets that the thermals now are so great that it's taken the subs out of those games sort of things. And let's face it, do people really hit... People usually hit other people's boats with subs that don't have thermal anyway.
And that's all they hit, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really see why I would go bother refitting it when, yeah.
I don't know. I suppose, in the, a year ago, instead of fitting four, instead of fitting the four, let's just say to a Banshee, instead of fitting the 4 D2Ss, and you could have fitted 1 D5S and put 3 speed on, I get that, to speed up your Banshees and that sort of stuff, that makes sense. But now the way it seems to be going, that would be the ludicrous thing to do because your fix time is going to go up by at least an hour per ship. Which
But
doesn't.
can you hear me?
Yes, mate, that's
Yes,
better.
Brent.
Okay, I was just gonna say, for as long as, and Brian hit the nail on the head right there, as long as your subs always die when you get spotted, right? Putting more armor is futile. It's just a waste. Because I don't see. I mean, whenever your subs are surfaced by a cavitator field, you're dead. Unless you can outrun Reavers, which is a very aggressive proposition. I mean, can you outrun Reavers? Right?
Who could? No, not with subs. Nothing can.
Usually you can't, because those Reavers are damn fast. So the moment they cavitate you, you're going to be fired to death. Why would you have more armor if you can do with less? That's the point.
It's true, but maybe things are going to go differently. Like maybe subs as we know them now aren't going to be subs as we know them in a few months. You know, like the same with the PvE PvP division. A lot changed in the game, and we learned to think of ships in a different manner as to how we used to use them. And perhaps Kicks are leaning towards doing something like that with subs.
Well, like Mickey just said there, what if it was something like a split thing, so it actually reduced thermal as well?
No, I think, Liam, I mean, to your point, right? We're not debating whether or not we should win the armors, because they're going to be in FM, so they're going to be in the progression line. Everyone's going to have them, right? As long as you hit the tier, you're going to have them. But as it is today, there's no reason to use them, right? I mean, maybe in the future they'll be in your inventory.
I fully agree.
Right now, no reason.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I was asking on the specs, because maybe they'll add something else to it. It won't be just detection, whatever, normal S. It might be extra bonuses on it.
Well, D5 is going to have probably 20 assault and siege deflection. I mean, if it follows a trend. But other than that, it's going to be a shitload of armor and stealth.
What's the cloak efficiency increase on a standard D2S?
5%.
5%. So
or 5%.
Okay. Now, are we going to assume that it's going to stay that up to 4 and then increase on 5? So maybe 5 would give you the option of using.
It's probably going to be 5, 7, 8, and 10, or something like that. I mean,
so maybe 2 5s would give you as much as 4 2s, giving you a chance to then use some Vs.
Yeah, I mean, it doubles your stealth, but it's probably going to, multiply your armor times 6. Do you want all that repair? And do you need more stealth at all? I don't know.
Also, weight. Armor is pretty heavy, and subs don't typically have a high max weight, and the Charon and especially the Styx Torps have a high base weight, and all the specials that you use on your subs tend to have a high either total weight or weapon weight modifier. So be careful there.
Yeah. And to be honest, we all built our Nighthawks and Banshee subs to snipe out guards, and no matter how much army put on them, you ain't gonna be able to do that. So what's the point?
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, if the repair modifier on these subs changes and is brought down in line to 100%, which is what Kickster said they're going to do, then obviously straight away your repairs drop by ×3. You know what I mean? Straight away it's dropped down by 200%. So that's your repair down. Even if you put D5s on, it's still going to be lower than what it was before. You know, and if you're going to get your cloak, say you can run 2 D5Ss and bring your cloak up to what it would be with 4 D2Ss, then you can put on, say, 2 D2Vs and get your combat speed high enough that you can outrun those Reavers, then to me it makes absolutely perfect sense. And no doubt in the first raid of that cycle we're going to see new subs and new torps with low weight.
That's fine for the raid.
Then you're going to have 4 extra hours of repair per sub, give or take.
One thing they could do is the cadmium armor has a much lower base repair modifier than other types. Maybe they could do something like that for the D2S. So then you have to make the trade-off of, like with the cadmium, I guess, well, I could put a D5S on and have a lower repair time, but I'll get on surface ships that have no use, but I could get another benefit elsewhere, like the evade buff from a D5E or resistance buff, something like that. Also, I'm laughing at assault and siege deflection in a skirmish target. Kind of hope they don't do that, but sometimes people build subs for bases, and I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
okay,
that's it.
Robin, that's quite good. I'll jump the next point, and we'll go on to the next. I'll jump one, and I'll go back to it in a minute.
Before we go there, TSM, I was going to say the only reason that would make me build that armor is if it has a flat amount of reduction against thermal. Let's say -5 thermal, -10 thermal. That would be awesome.
Okay, all right. In fact, no, I'll get this one out of the way quick because it's not really a massive bit of interest there. So the July VXP weekend, okay, VXP weekend is scheduled from Friday the 22nd through to Monday the 25th of July. No news currently on the target types this time. It just says more to follow. So whether they're going to go the same targets or put new targets in, we'll have to wait out to one of the weekly updates or the mid-month sort of review. But this is quite important. It ties in what we've just been talking about. Skirmish line.
I hope we get some reavers.
Yeah.
Well, on the VXP weekend, seriously, I mean,
yeah, that'd be good trade.
Get some reavers would be great.
It would actually.
It's going to have to be something slow because let's all face it, we're going to be wanting to rank base guards if that's the new hull, and they ain't going to be fast.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're right, but you can always crash it.
Maybe it'll be something attacking our bases.
They'll be coming fast towards us as long as we don't have a projectile splash-based weapon like a mortar or a rocket. We're fine.
Okay, so skirmish line preview then. It says that we have scheduled a second one for this month, which is quite interesting. We've scheduled an open preview server on Thursday the 21st. Okay, so that's a day after, okay, the FM starts, to test the changes to the submarines scheduled to occur with the addition of the skirmish line of submarines. This will also allow us to review targets for the September raid. Note that, okay. Again, space is a premium, blah, 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 blah. First come, first served, more details to follow. So that should have the repair modifier changed in it. It should also have, or potentially, a preview of maybe the adjustments and some of the things that are coming in the subs as well. So that's one that if you can get in, I would get into it. Or at least view somebody that's getting into it. And I don't know if one of us is going to do a stream maybe, but
I'll stream it.
If that's an open preview, that means people can stream.
Yeah, I think somebody needs to stream that one if they're about. Yeah. I think that's important. That one.
Yeah, the TFC will be streaming it.
Cool. So that's the skirmish preview. I've got a couple of other notes here. I'll leave the last one. Basically, there's a hot fix that came out on the 28th, just before they did it on Friday, and that was the R&D, the stuck objectives. Doom put out a message there to say basically a portion of players have experienced an issue that they could become stuck in the R&D. No shit, Sherlock. Okay. However, they put out a hot fix, and apparently now it's all squared away. Comments? Does everybody agree it's fixed?
Yeah, I have an alliance mate who couldn't do an R&D for a month. No, he can.
No, we can, yeah.
Yeah, mine's fixed now. I hadn't done it for over a month because it just wouldn't allow me. And then when they did fix it, oh no, sorry. And then I couldn't do it because the targets weren't available.
Yeah,
but now
that. Yeah.
I can do it. The only problem I've got with the R&D, which kind of isn't a problem, but is annoying, is I had one running right, and I was doing the game and all that, and then it finished, and all of a sudden, it tells me to start the next one, I needed to repair such and such armor,
yeah,
kill 75 armadas, and bring back so many rares, and I'm thinking, hang on, I've been doing that all week.
Yeah, but you've got to do it from that point, and if you're mid-raid, like I was when I had to do it, then I'd add it.
Yeah, I mean, but that's my point, and then I couldn't do it again the third time because that happened like you said, mid-raid. Well, there aren't any armadas.
Yeah, but that's the luck of the draw with it sometimes, isn't it? I've been caught out a couple of times, and I think Gadget mentioned that, I think probably on the last but one show, where you need uranium, don't you, as you go through the raid, during the raid time as well, because things like R&D do pop up, and actually it's really, really hard to go and get some. So he was saying, that what was it, the Man of Wars, wasn't it? They were waiting during the weekend to bring them out. Just bring the bloody things out, start the raid, and just have them available from the start.
Gadget really loves the Man of Wars, by the way. They're his favourite.
Yeah, they do. So one more note quickly then. So obviously,
still not fixed mine yet.
Really?
I've still got that stupid gold disc.
Oh mate, it just says you're special.
That's your trophy, mate.
Exactly.
That's your forever trophy.
You should just change colour to something like winner's token or something like that. But there we go. Monday maintenance and release delay. Clearly, it's a July 4th weekend in the States, obviously, so there's going to be no maintenance on Monday. That will then obviously coincide and happen on the Tuesday. In fact, no, it says next week's update will be moved to Wednesday the 6th of July.
Mm-hmm. And in which case, our show next week will also be moved to Wednesday the 6th of July, guys.
All right, cool.
To be in line with the update.
So that was a simple one. The only thing I was going to talk about quickly, and I know quite a few, particularly Monster, I was going to chat about, and the last point I've got here is the mega hull progression. And some of this is a bit of free type of my own. So basically, player-owned mega ships later in July. We plan to have the ability for players to construct their own mega ships. You can read more about it. The fix. Well, if you've seen my online note, there's a link there to it. Remember the Hyperion Hunters. Okay, those of you who are the Hyperion Hunters. The ability to speed up your gantry build should be available from this coming Tuesday. However, it might also be delayed for 24 hours. That's my guess. I don't know, because if they're not doing an update, they may not put in that option, or it may already be coded already. I don't know. So if they're delaying the update from Monday till Wednesday, that may also be delayed. That's a guess on my part, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. So, but anyway, if you've got enough pre-stacked fragments for your Hyperion, it will commence its build straight away. That was mentioned last month as well. What's its build duration? Well, that's a good question, but basically I think it's going to be somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks based on the information in the statement above, because it says here, player-owned mega ships. We plan to have the ability to have them up and constructed late July. So does that sort of make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ren, I mean, I know Monster's well ahead on his build and that sort of stuff, and I know obviously Gadget is as well.
I just started my gantry half an hour before the show today, so I'm happy.
Oh, I haven't started mine yet. I'm such a slacker with that.
Yeah, me too.
I've got like 92 parts, but I just no.
To be honest, I only finished one last week. I just really couldn't be bothered, and I built one Apollo, and I've done it all off that. I've done 120 of them in, well, not 120 of them, but 120 parts in a night. Damn, it killed me.
And I was right, wasn't it? They said you could pre-stack Hyperion shards if you'd already started your gantry, and then when it kicks in and says it's built,
it's the same targets for the shards.
Yeah, and it'll get credited towards the hull, won't it, automatically?
Well, yeah, I've got my gantries on, and I've already got 120 or whatever the hell it was bits for the ship.
So yours should kick in and start building straight away if it's the same number of shards. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, that'd be interesting, Monster. We can mention that maybe on Wednesday.
Because you'll need mega hull parts. So you'll have the fragments, but you'll need the parts.
Don't go there.
What? Parts to get.
No, I don't know. That's a guess. Don't hold me to that. I'm just trying to wind you up a bit. But you know, like with the other ones, you've got Rhino parts and then tier 5 fragments. Yeah. So just saying, could be.
Oh, if that's a case, then I'll scrap that, mate.
just to press the man. There we go. Look.
You know, I'm just
messing out with you.
Yeah. So the only thing I've got to say, which I did read on quite a few of the Facebook pages, and there was a bit on forums, was a lot of people complaining about the spawn rate of the 107s, and them not spawning outside their bases, and then them having to move. And then somebody said they put in a ticket, and then somebody said, well, just move your base, and then somebody said, clear all the stuff out around your base. Someone said, you've been sitting in one place too long, da-di-da-di-da, and basically there's no real answer, I don't think, to be honest. I tested it on my second run through the FM myself, and it took literally for me to come out the target, pop into my base, just so I could dot the reds because I just used it all up, pop back out again, and the 107 was sitting there ready to rock and roll. Apart from the last run, and it never popped up. A little baby one popped up instead in the same location. So whether that was from another base close to me, I don't know.
I've never had a problem with that at all. It's just always there.
I actually seen something weird in sector 400 around the Drek uranium base. I've seen 107s spawning, but there were no bases that were supposed to spawn them. So maybe someone jumped away from there, but their 107s were still spawning in the sector, or I don't know.
Oh, that's unusual. Is anybody else having that problem there? But anybody that's above the right, for the right level for the 107s?
There was no base around that area.
What's the right level?
95.
It's 95 plus.
Well, I'm 95, and I killed one. A 107 was outside my base. I killed it, waited, and a 67 respawned.
And then was there a base next to you that was at the right level, so it was like his turn to have his spawn, maybe, if it's too busy? That's the concern, Wayne, is when people are bunched in, and 400, Sector 400 is a good one for that, it's always really, really busy there and popular. Sometimes people are like waiting.
There's a 102 fairly close to me.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I don't have the answer, I must admit. It was brought up. I've seen, you know, I actually went to Kickstarter's forum and had a little look around, which is a dangerous thing to do because most of it's negative. But there was quite a bit on the 107s not spawning correctly and that sort of stuff. And people are saying, I've ticketed it, and the feedback from CMs wasn't necessarily that helpful, to be honest.
Nothing new there then.
Yeah, I just think sometimes the people in that sort of like feedback forum don't actually play the game. Well, in fact, I know they don't. They can't do because there's some that suggested they were coming back from what I was reading when they showed their tickets. It was farcical. It really was. And I can see what they were cross. But yeah, so that's it on the notes. Sorry, that's used up the whole time almost.
Oh,
So,
is there something I can say about the 107s?
yeah, go on.
With the fact that they're trying to limit it to only so many out there, it's been brought up before about different things. I would have liked to seen like the 107s. If they want to make it Pacific, why don't they put it into the what's the campaign thing? Put it in the campaign thing. So you have to start it to get a 107, so you can get a 107 whenever you're ready.
Do you know what, Wayne? I thought that was a really good idea up until the point when I just noticed that somebody in my alliance who also is a high-level player, but he's only a high-level player because he gets hit so much and that sort of stuff, and his base is going up in level, he keeps collecting res, but his ship's a tonk, you know, and then all of a sudden you're stuck because you're going to be hitting a 107, but you don't have the kit to hit a 107, and you can't then get any other option.
But if they put it in the campaigns, there's no reason why they can't give you the option in the campaign or click on a little square and that's the one that spawns.
Yeah, I suppose you get where you put in a sliding
and then
scale.
they don't. Yeah, exactly. If they give you the option of you want a 107, you want an 80, click on it, and that's the one you start. Also, that means it would clear up the actual water, and they wouldn't have all these things spawning around the water because they'd only be spawning when people want them.
That could actually help with the lag as well.
Yeah,
yeah,
it'd be a good thing, I reckon.
Yeah, I can see the logic in that. Anything else, guys? Just past the hour. But...
Fun tip I just discovered. If you want to have more armor on your subs, but don't want a necessarily too terribly longer repair time, if you have Tiger Sharks, apparently in Huggies I can put in the Coaxial Firestorm that has 1800 armor points and repairs in 4 minutes 18. So I'm not going to say try it at home, but I found out I could do it and it's funny.
Coaxial Firestorm, can you? Of course you can. In the Tiger, you could. Yeah, you could.
On Tiger, yeah, on Tiger. I'm able to in Huggies.
Well, guys, it's been a good discussion and a good hour. We've managed to fill the hour very well, and I think we brought up some good stuff and some good feedback for Kicks. So I'm glad about that. Hopefully, I
do have one thing for the panel, if that's all right.
Sure.
It's more of a directive for me. I wanted to find out because I can't get an answer off Kicksai. I've come across a glitch in my base. I put my base guard in. All my boats are in place in my guard, and I've been hit twice. I've been hit more than twice, but twice when I've been hit, suddenly one of my boats is actually on the outside of my base.
Right.
I was wondering if anybody else has had that issue.
I haven't had it, but I've seen it.
I've had similar to that myself. Normally I'll go in base plan and remove the boats around like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jay, well, that's what I was told.
Yeah.
I saw that in the forum as well. That was one of the feedbacks from one of the mods. Go into base planner, adjust them in there, and then save it in there, and then go back out onto the thing. I don't know if
sometimes you find also because of that after repair slot thing, I don't know if it's because of that or not, but sometimes if you take a boat out and put that in or a different one in that slot, sometimes you'll see it shows that the ship's not really there. All you've got to do is either go out to the map or refresh the game and then it appears again.
There's actually a lot of glitches with that slot. Like even if you recall a fleet and then put the fleet back in, it won't go back in, and then you try and put it in again, and you normally SOS.
Yeah, I got that earlier on.
There's actually a lot of problems with that.
Yeah, but it's all working as intended.
Of course. It'll be in next week's bug fixes and tuning, I'm sure.
Mate, my base forever goes off of its percentage. I mean, one person can hit me and I'm 25% with 2 turrets in the warehouse left. Other people can hit me and it takes to nearly then the last 2 turrets are dead. So I sent him a ticket and said, look, I've had enough of my base keep messing about. It can't be due to upgrading turrets and that because they're all done. Oh no, everything's fine, it's working as intended. Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's hard to. Yeah, there's a lot of variables now, isn't there? It's hard to even know what's intended and what isn't. Well, listen. Anyway, I mean, we are over the hour mark, and thank you everyone for coming out tonight. We've had a good show. Thanks for everyone that tunes into the show and everyone that's watched on YouTube. Apologies from Gadget and Lucy for not being able to come on tonight. They will be on Tuesday. Sorry, Wednesday, because that was what I was going to get onto next. We're going to have this week's show on Wednesday to be in line with Kickstarter's update. So we'll see you guys then, and hopefully it'll be a good one. Take care, everyone, and have a good weekend, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
Enjoy the long weekend.